Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz universe to the channel. We're gonna take a look at the old man in World of Tanks Blitz, the classic Russian Tier 9 medium tank, that is the T-54. I've received a few good replays, decided to take a look on my channel, and actually figured, well, I have reviewed this tank before, but that has been quite some time since I did a review on that. That was back in the days when I decided to review all the then available Tier 9 Tech Tree tanks. We obviously now have the Standard B in there as well. We have the WZ120, which has been changed and buffed a little bit. The Type 61 has been buffed. There have been changes in that regard. So you still don't see a lot of T-54 videos out there on the YouTube channels because the prototype, the Stand B, has somewhat taken the role of the most popular Tier 9 Tech Tree medium tank. And that's not without a reason, because that prototype obviously packs the auto reloader, it has got good mobility, it has a nice profile, some of the traits that the T-54 used to have and actually still has. Why is it then such a, well, not that much covered vehicle? I wouldn't say unloved. I mean, there's still, how many people playing it? Some 6,500 over the last 90 days. It survives quite a bit, it has a 54% average win rate. So it is a good tank. It kind of struggles to deal damage if you compare it to the other Tier 9 medium tanks. But still, it kind of made me wonder. And then I got a fair few good replays on Discord and in the email, and I decided to make a little bit of a video out of this one. And we're looking at Sippy99 here from the Igo clan, who is on New Bay. As you can see, he manages to get a shot into that lurver, has a few heat rounds available, is not going to load one, just AP straight through the front, going all fine, and then he decides to shoot heat on the side of a VK30-01B. That's a bad idea. It's not a bad idea if you shoot the turret, but it has a lot of tracks there and it has spaced armor, so shooting heat on the lower hull of a VK101B on move is not a good idea. That said, talking about heat, the T-54 was known as the Heat 54. Back in the days when premium ammunition still did the same damage as regular ammo, people would just, I wouldn't say instantly load the heat, but there would be a lot of T-54 driving around with all heat in there, because the base penetration of the tank, that's not brilliant. It's not brilliant. You're looking at 208 to 230 on average. That would be on your Top Gun. There's two guns actually. I have to mention that first. There's two guns you can get, because you can go to the T-62A from the T-54 and you can go to the Object 140. And the one leading towards the T-62A has 230 in terms of pen, and the one leading towards the Object 140 has 211 in terms of penetration. But the one leading towards the Object 140 has better dispersion, better damage per minute because it fires a little bit quicker, but also has worse aim time, so it is, you know, it is practically the same gun, but in details it's a bit different. I kind of prefer the gun on the T-54 leading towards the T-62A. And why is that? Because of the better penetration. 230 is not brilliant. Heat rounds, however, have got 297 in terms of penetration. You will punch through anything with that. And it of course packs an HE shell as well, which will come in handy if you're up against tanks like 2 HP left Standard B, then you can clear that tank out. And a little Sippy99 here is just gonna roll towards base B now, because he knows where the Yark Tiger is. That tank has just captured A. And he sent me this one and said, well, Martin, this has to be one of the best games I've played so far in my T-54. And I think it is, apart from the two stupid hits that he took from the VK. I plead guilty straight away, hold my hands up and say, well, been there, done that. I take those stupid hits as well. Other than that, he's played it fairly well, technically, I think. Doing quite some damage, not doing really stupid things or taking unnecessary risks in the beginning. And he's now just securing the win because the clock will tick towards 1000, and that's going to be all she wrote then. We do have two more games, and they'll just feature on the video as we finish this one, because just as icing on the cake, he's going to kill the Arc Tiger. What do you have to work with when you have the T-54? As said, 2 guns. Really good. One of them, leading towards the T-62A, has 2,617 damage per minute. That's with calibrated shells. And then at your penetration, you have 230, 297 as said, and 55 on HE. And if you go towards the object on 40, you have 211, 297 and 55 in terms of HE. And I'd rather prefer to have less shots per minute and have a better penetration than having more rounds a minute. I mean, you can have better TPM, but if you're bouncing a lot, then it really doesn't work. There's people who prefer the gun leading towards the object on 40. If you're looking at the gun depression, it doesn't really matter. It's at 20 degrees in terms of elevation and 5 degrees of gun depression, which is bad. You have to get used to that. And that bad gun depression comes from the design of the turret. It's low slung, it is well armored, especially at the front. You have a bit of a bustle sticking out. And because of the gun mounted in this turret, the gun breech just can't elevate it up enough to give you like 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees of gun depression like it can on, for example, the M46 pattern. But then again, that tank doesn't really have good turret armor. And Destroy 220813 from the Cursed Clan is going to show us just what you can do with a T-54 in a brawling situation. This is a brawler, a street fighter basically. He's going to have a big brain move here, just ramming his Russian ass into that T-92E1, and then he's going to shoot him there as well. 297, good hit. The Pantera is moving and trying to kill the T-92E1, but it doesn't quite work. He has to leave the damage to Destroy, but Destroy is in a bit of a pickle now. So what do you do then? You decide to reverse down the hatch. You go into a position where you can abuse the front plate and use the turret armor. The front plate of a T-54, that is a really strong type of armor. It's angled backwards, which helps in getting the effective armor up. Because if you look at the plate itself, that's not brilliant. 120 millimeters. You would say, well, 120 millimeters. That's paper thin. That's just like a wafer. You can just, I mean, anybody could punch through 120 mils of armor at these tiers. No problem whatsoever. No questions asked. But if you have it angled, if you are sitting in just a little bit of a depression and you're hiding your lower plate and you are posing your gun over the track wheels, then you will bounce on that lower plate. And this shot may have gone on the turret arm, I'm not quite sure. And because you're such a low slung tank, you can see the VK. That's a really tall, heavy tank. That tank has problems face-hugging a T-54 Russian tank. Or a T-44 for that matter, or a T-62A or Object 140. The tank is just too big. The only thing it can shoot is your turret. And like I said, if you're hull down, and if you're angling your upper hull plate like Destroy is doing here, he doesn't get any use of it because that AMX 5120 is then already down. But the way he was positioned was how you should position your tank in a situation like that. Angle the gun over the track wheel, left or right, and then try to work around the bad gun depression. Because you do get the armor up to quite some effective armor, quite a good thickness. You're looking at 280, 290. And if you then think about the penetration you had on your tank, in terms of AP and heat, etc., you've had like 300 on your heat. That means that if you angle your T-54 properly, then the enemy T-54 cannot penetrate your front plate with AP, and a lot of the tanks at this tier will struggle. I mean the medium tanks. I mean the tank destroyers, they will punch through. But a lot of the medium tanks you will be facing, as long as they don't resort to premium ammo, they will struggle if you keep your front plate angled up, and you will get an effective armor of 300 mils. And if you then wiggle around and poke down the hatch from time to time, you will get like 310 auto bounce angles. Turret front, however, that is penetrable. It's 200 mils. Right on the left side of the gun there's some weak spots, some very small ones at 160 mils. But the turret front is rounded, and that means that also the sides, they are only 100 mils in thickness. but they're rounded, they're troll. It is not easy to get a shot on towards these weak spots. And the cupolas, well, they are bad as well, if you look at just the nominal value. But again, it's rounded, it's troll, that's where the armor lies. What are the weak spots then of the tank? Well, obviously the side armor. You've got tracks, you can side scrape with it, but on the side you only have 80 mils. That's not a lot. If you do side scrape with it, it's going to work just fine. And then you will get it up to 300, no problems whatsoever, no questions asked. But all the tanks will just punch through. And a little thingy here, the big British tanks like a Centurion 7/1, like an FV4202, like a Conway, the big hash guns of this world, they will punch through the side. Just shoot above the track of a T-54 and just whack them in the side, no problem, no problem. When we had, what was it? I think it was uprising mode. Or maybe I'm not sure. But there was a tank, I think it was an uprising. I was in the Conway and the T-54 decided to come towards me and he figured, oh, that's very, very thinly armored Conway. Let's just rush in. Well, I punched through big hash shells straight through the side. And he was gone. He was gone. And you have to know that you have to aim for the side. You have to be careful not to hit the tracks, because those tracks, they will absorb the heat shells and hash shells. But if you angle the tank like this, like Epic Live is doing here, that's what you should do with the tank. Just reverse down the hatch ever so slightly. Be sure you still have your gun depression at a workable angle. But if you do that, then you will bounce shots. And because it's a Russian tank, you're sometimes lucky as well. Shot by the KV4 in the side. And then the Object 74 goes and whatever he says in K. He probably figured, right, I've got the side of the T-54. No, the Russian track just absorbs all the damage. He did get tracked, bit lucky there, and he still has some hit points remaining. That's what you get for shooting a Russian tank in the side. And this game, this one's going to go down all the way into the end, just right down to the very last hit points, the very last minutes. Epic Live is putting the gun to work, as you can see, but it's not enough. He has to make it 2 versus 3 now. His teammate is not looking to be of very big help at the moment. Hello, Pantera, once. Yeah, you see, straight into the side. If that side is open, any tank will penetrate. The Pantera took a bit too much in terms of risk, I think, because, well, he was there, and this is the Object 252U. He was angling, and then he exposed the lower plate. He punched through. Have you noticed, by the way, I haven't said it yet or mentioned it, have you noticed that Epic Live is not carrying a single shell of heat ammunition? This is a true everyman's game. AP only, just a little bit of HE. Here he goes, straight through the front. Bye bye Pantera. And now he is going into a Russian showdown. IS-8 versus T-54. And he's having the game of his life, as you can see. 4,671 damage dealt. 5 kills already. Blocked 1,315. Gets a shot into the IS-8. Here we go. Yes, bounces on that front plate because it's angled backwards. He can shoot the IS-8 again. But at the damage he's doing at 310, you have less damage per shot than a Type 61, for example, or a PTA. And if you then get shot by the IS-8 and you're down to 2 hit points, this is going to be a showdown. Who's going to be the one that has his nerves under control? Who's going to be the most patient? Who is going to be the one to control this engagement? Let's see, let's see. He can't afford to use an HE shell. He cannot do that because the IS-8 is too well armored. He has a 100mm gun. I don't think the splash damage would be able to kill that IS-8. And the biggest problem here is he hasn't got premium ammo, so he cannot punch through the front plates of the IS-8. Sides, space armor as well. Be careful with that. But he has to get a shot in onto the lower plate or onto the side because he's only carrying AP. I do not know what he's doing in terms of equipment, but I think he is running the calibrated shells. Not quite sure. Would need to check because of the reload time, but then again you have provisions etc which skew the reload time. But I think he's running calibrated shells. That's what I would do. Screw the DPM. The DPM is already good. Just go for calibrated shells. Ooh, yes, 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 yes. No, missed. Ooh, this is he's getting close. No. Well done. 5,330 damage dealt, 1,735 blocked as you can see. And he gets a big, fat, well-deserved ace and lost credits because he's not running a premium account. And even though he did not fire anything in terms of heat, he did lose credit. You can see that over there. High caliber as well, Pools medal. Thank you very much, mate, for allowing me to use this replay on the channel. And that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Tankers of Blitz Universe. T-54 Russian Tier 9 medium tank. I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers, happy tanking, and bye-bye.